Lucy, you do a roll call?
Mr. DiBiaseo,
Yeah.
Dr. Nera,
Yes.
Mr. Jennings,
Yeah.
Ms. Menard, Mr. Beegan,
Here.
Father J.
Present.
In accordance to Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20F, any member of the public may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or virtual meeting. A member of the public who wishes to record the meeting must notify the chair and comply with the reasonable requirement in audio or video equipment established by the chair is not to interfere with the meeting. We have a pledge allegiance.
Flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
Flag
of the States of America,
of the United States of America,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with
Indivisible.
liberty and justice for all. Okay.
I think we have one back now.
Need a motion to approve the March 12, 2020 minutes. Second,
Second.
all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. 2.0 unfinished business.
Paul, just put into the record that we're not going to be utilizing citizens' input tonight due to the fact we are virtual and the coronavirus elements. We are not having normal public input.
Public input. Okay, thank you. 2.1 superintendent evaluation update. I'm not sure they have turned in the evaluation, but Lucy, count it.
I have 2 of the 6.
Yep. All right. I have mine. I was actually going to give it to the other day when I was there, but I forgot.
Email those to
I'll
Lucy.
be-
Lucy, can you send me another one on the computer, please?
Sure.
Send me another one.
Lucy, we can email those to you.
Yes,
Lucy, do you mind sending another evaluation to me as well,
sure.
please?
I'll get it to you this, by next week. Lucy.
Okay.
All right. 3.1 personnel. A number of appointments.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, as far as appointments, we are hiring Miss Jennifer Carter. She's been appointed as a medical assisting instructor for the 21 school year, starting on step 9 plus a master's degree. Total salary will be $72,148. We're also hiring Miss Ashley Duffany. She's being appointed as a history instructor for the 21 school year, starting on step 6 plus a master's degree. Total salary $64,762. We're hiring Miss Rachel Grande as the ELL instructor for the 21 school year. Step 10 plus a master's degree. Total salary $76,304. We are hiring Mr. Patrick Merrick into our HVAC shop for the 21 school year, starting on step 13. Total salary $84,729. We're hiring Mr. Aaron Soers to the physical education department for the 21 school year, starting on step 2, $52,041.
Thank you. Under still business 3.0, we have the 2019-2020 school year 185-day appeal. Dr. Ferrera.
Yes, the appeal for the 185th day, something that's come down from DESE. The commissioner is allowing districts who feel they have a rationale not to have to go to the 185th day, which was part of the March 16th shutdown. As I mentioned to school committee members, because our school, the instructors and the students, had devices and active work in front of them effective March 16, I feel our appeal should be heard by DESE for us to be done on our 181st day. which will end up being June 19th, Friday, June 19th, instead of the 185th day that DESI is requiring.
Okay. Thank you. Under 3.0 is B, which is the 2020-21 school calendar. Everybody has a copy of the calendar? Any questions on the calendar? Any comments? Approve the calendar, need a motion?
Motion made.
Need a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Al, obviously, the calendar will be subject to whatever changes may become necessary based on what comes down from DESI, correct?
Correct. If there are alterations based by DESI or the state, we'll obviously have to revisit the calendar. But assuming we are back to normal, this would be the calendar that we would utilize moving forward.
Thank you. 3.0 C, 2020-21 student handbook.
So everyone has a copy of the handbook, or the projected handbook for next year. Mr. Rebello has been the lead of the student handbook committee. There are no major changes as far as regulations and practices in the handbook, but if there are questions, Mr. Rebello will gladly field them.
Hearing none. The recommendation is to approve the 2020-21 student handbook as submitted.
Motion made.
Need a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, this thing is applicable if any direction from DESI or what have you relative to how we operate the school. Mr. Rebello will make those changes accordingly, so the students can get them.
Thank you. Next, under business 3.2D, you get the social and distant learning operational plan. Dr.
So this is a requirement now from the state. The commissioner is looking for districts to put together what they're calling a social distancing and distance learning operational plan in case there is another scenario where we can't physically be in the building or on campus. The draft you have in front of you is a combination of various pieces that we put together as we began this process, not having a social distancing operational plan prior. The general expectations are set forth for students, families, and all staff members. We're using the grading scenario we have in place right now, as well as the platform usage that the teachers and the students have been using. There is expectations also there for support staff for students, for counselors, special education. We also have ELL expectations. We have expectations for the school nurses, any instructional assistants, cafeteria, clerical, and we also put in the language related to sick time and vacation, personal time, so that we have a living document that we can use and be prepared should we have to move in that direction again.
Great, thank you. Any questions, comments? Hearing none. Recommendation to approve the social distancing and distant learning operating plan as submitted. Need a motion?
Motion made.
Need a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. 3.2, the Diamond Bagel Foundation, Education Foundation.
So
Go ahead.
So in collaboration with the school committee, the Diamond Bagel Foundation has purchased a router for the carpentry program in memory of former school committee member, Mr. Ron Sylvia Sr. The total cost of the router is $2,550.
Recommendation is to approve the purchase of the router for the carpentry program in memory of the Ron Sylvia Sr. Need a motion?
Motion made.
Need a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Oppose? Hearing none. 3.2F, the 2020-21 LPN tuition. Dr. Ferraro, would you report on that?
Sure. So, Director Theodore, Mrs. Kenny, and I have met to discuss the LPN tuition situation moving into the 21 school year. Based on our current data, we are going to make a recommendation to freeze the tuition rates for 2021 using the in-district cost of $11,100, the out-of-district cost of $18,000, the out-of-state cost $19,400.
Freeze the tuition for the 2020-21 school year. Need a motion?
Motion made.
Did I hear a motion?
Motion.
I need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Yes. 3.2, school transportation account. Dr. Ferrara?
This is legislation that has come to my attention and to Mrs. Kenny's attention. It was actually part of the Chapter 233 of the Act of 2014. It allows regional school districts to create a regional transportation reimbursement fund. We would be allowed to deposit money into that account for future transportation reimbursements, and we're able to carry that money forward from year to year. It's really a placeholder for transportation funds in case the state reimbursement percentage changes. So it is a suggestion from our outside consultant that we establish this fund per the Massachusetts CMR and use it moving forward for transportation reimbursement.
Mr. Chairman, and Ms. Kenny might be able to talk about this. It's probably going to become necessary this year because our school district, like all school districts, because the school year was cut short and we did not use the transportation, there are ongoing negotiations with the bus companies for us to save some money based on our existing contracts, and that there's a House Bill 3757, I believe, which says that whatever savings that we do get are going to have to put in such a revolving account, and we can use it next year within the next school year. So we need to put this in place because it's likely going to be necessary to be used in the very near future. And Deb, you can add in anything
Yep.
to that, but that's it.
So we have the group of school business managers have been negotiating with Tremblay's, and we are still in the process. We haven't come to a final decision yet, but we definitely will have additional monies in this fund, and it will definitely help the budget for FY21 so that we can reduce the transportation portions of the assessments to the communities. But definitely, we will definitely have a credit balance going forward.
And it has to go into a revolving fund. So we are going to need this fund.
Correct.
And only for transportation.
Greg,
Yes.
you said that it's in the legislature, it hasn't passed.
What we got from Mass Association of School Committees is that they put two bills forward. One is an emergency basis, and the other one they anticipate it passing. That was what the language they used.
Oh, it hasn't passed.
No, I don't believe so, Joan. To my knowledge, like I said, it's House Bill 3757. I don't believe it has passed yet.
I'll check it. House Bill what?
I believe it's 3757. I can give it to you. It's either 3757 or 5737, but I'm pretty certain it's 3757.
I'll check it.
Okay.
So question, Debbie, we're going to be paying some to the school.
I'm having trouble understanding you, Don. You're very broken up.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
We're going to be paying some money to the bus company from the time we stop busing until June 30th or June.
That's correct. And that was the recommendation from the Commissioner of Education right from the beginning, that we shouldn't be paying 100%, but that we should negotiate a price that represents the companies to be stable enough so that when we go back to school, they're available. And so we have been working on what costs we would take into consideration But so far, where we are at, I'm extremely pleased, and we will definitely have a substantial savings in this account. I will bring the committee before so that you can decide on if you want to accept the agreement.
Before you finalize,
Absolutely.
Are all the school districts doing this?
So
Yes.
the commissioner suggested that anyone who had the same transportation company would work together, and then it would be decided between the members of that particular group what would be acceptable. And right now the agreements that have already been made are all over the place, but we're trying to work the best agreement for our group down here.
So, but you can't put it in the revolving account unless the bill becomes law. So we have to check that out first, right?
Well, the revolving account was established. Yeah, we need to have, we never had a revolving account established, so we need to do that, so we have a place to put it. And,
I'll check it for you then. Okay.
okay,
No, I know.
Joan, that issue is this. It's because it's not going to be a further appropriation by the cities and towns. They're telling us that it's got to be put in this revolving account and can only be used for transportation without further appropriation, meaning it's just going to be there for us to utilize. We're going to know we have that amount of money. That's what basically the bill says.
Okay.
And Don, just to answer your question a little bit, what the negotiations are around, we're trying to establish, and Debbie, again, chime in because I've only seen the email, is we're trying to establish their fixed cost. That's what we're trying to revolve around. What amount of money, irrespective of the fact that they're providing the transportation, that they're still incurring bus costs, insurance, things of that nature, and things like gas and labor of trying to be backed out because they didn't have to utilize it. Things like that. That's what's going into the negotiation process.
that's absolutely correct, Greg.
But now none of the communities can come back to Diamond and say they want some of the transportation money back.
I'm having trouble understanding what Don's saying.
Yeah, Don, what are you fucking into?
I can't hear him either, Don. It's hard.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me better now?
Yes, I can.
a little bit better.
Yes,
All
yeah,
right. So it's an old computer, guys. I'm sorry. Now the communities can't come back to you and say they want some of their money back since the students were not transported from March 10th until June 17th, and we charged the communities for this transportation.
so basically they are going to get the benefit of it, Don, because what happens is the money that's left over will be transferred to next year, and next year it will reduce their assessment. So they're going to get the benefit of the refund.
Okay.
Okay. Recommendation is to establish the school transportation revolving account per Mass 603 CMR 41.055 amendment to approve budgets. Need a motion. Need a second. All in favor?
Why?
Opposed? None. Pass. 3.2, we have expenditure approval. We have the athletic field maintenance quote. Dr. Ferrera.
Yeah, so what you have for approval are two amounts. Both companies will be working together to put all the fields to bed. They will be doing different components, even though they'll be on the same fields. This will include fertilization, weed control, closing systems, and irrigation necessary to make sure all the fields are down for the year, ready for the summer, and then prepared for the fall.
I'll move acceptance.
Need a,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. 3.2I, the NBA update. We have the
Mr. Yep. Mr. DiBiaseo, do you want me to report out?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead, because I'm having trouble here. I don't see anybody in my voice that was not working.
Sure. So what folks have in front of them is the proposed milestone work plan from Colliers. This will take us through everything we've already done through completion of a project and all of the aftermath that will also happen, including the closeout audit. As of right now, we are still completing feasibility module 2 and 3. Moving with Castle Booze towards educational visioning, which will happen in June and July virtually, more than likely. And then we will start the process of selection and design in the fall of 2020 and the spring of 2021. If you follow the process, we'll have schematic design and everything to DESI and to the MSBA, hopefully around July of 2021. And then we will have everything to our sending communities for a vote somewhere around November of 2021.
Okay. Any questions?
The only thing I'll have to add to that, Paul, is in the meantime, before that vote comes up, there are going to be a lot of community meetings with not only the selectmen or the city council, but also with the public before this vote is even taken. And that's part of that phase in there. Am I correct, Al?
Okay.
I think I can handle it.
You'll keep me updated anyway as the process goes. Next is 3.2J, the administration office construction.
So the information with that particular topic is just to confirm the vote taken to make sure we have the proper protocol in place to select a contractor to finish off the administration construction that's going on Stonehaven Road. In your packet, you should see the 4 bids that came in. We have gone through the process, and again, this is just to confirm the vote taken via email on April 30th to appoint E5 as the contractor to complete that project.
Okay. Dr. Ferrera said from the vote that was taken on April 30th, 2020 to award the office construction bid to E5 Builders in the amount of $66,980. Need a motion to approve.
Motion made.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none.
Mr. Chairman, the contract's already been done. Ms. Thompson, I got it over to Ms. Thompson. She got it over to E5. I believe it's already been returned, and if I'm not mistaken, Al, Monday, I think, might be the start date. I think they've done some things, but the actual on-campus, they'll be there Monday, I think, I've
That's
heard.
correct. Yes, that's correct, Glenn.
Speaking to Mr. Benavides and Mr. Brilliant. So,
Yep.
This is only, Mr. Chairman, I believe this is only for the administration's office. This is not a separate bid. It'll have to go out for the 3 classrooms if the administrators move over to the new area.
I think what Don just said, he's asking about the other area that's still not done. Mr. DiBiasio and Mr. Ferrera can interject. I think what we're going to do on that is we're going to try to do as much in-house as possible, and we don't believe that there's going to be any contracting work, i.e. a plumber or an electrician, that's going to necessitate competitive bidding. It's all going to be below the threshold, so we're going to be able to go by, potentially have to get 3 bids, but I'm not even sure we're going to be there. And more than likely, the remaining portion is going to be done by best business practices, so we're going to be fine.
The thresholds were just recently changed.
Exactly. During the COVID virus, they did increase the threshold, so we're going to be fine.
Okay. Thank you. 3.2K, monthly financial report, Mrs. Kenny.
Okay, well, if you can see that there's still at this point over $6 million remaining in our budget. Basically, we are paying our payroll, we are paying our utilities, which of course is decreasing since the building is not in usage. And our goal, since so much of FY21 is unknown, Dr. Ferrer and I have been meeting and discussing what our goals are, and that is to save as much as we possibly can this year to use as a carryover for next year, of course, staying within our limitation of 5%. in addition to the savings that we are having at this point, which are reflective in the budget, we also anticipate some additional savings. I have spoken with our insurance and company, and we're going to get some credits on our insurance in terms of the vehicles and the vehicles not being used. We also, since we ceased operation on the 16th, I recently received a bill from the Fall River Police Department for the services of a police officer through June 30th, and I have been
I think
in.
that was, I think that's negotiation, Mrs.
I'm sorry.
That's in negotiations. The superintendent report back on that.
Okay, I'm sorry. So anyway, we are saving money, and I will bring to the committee my recommendations probably in June. But right now, as I said, we are basically paying payroll and all of our fixed expenses. But we still have quite a bit of money left. We are limited by the 5% that we can carry over.
Mr. Chairman, as you and I discussed, I told the chairman when we were doing the budget to put this on the agenda because there's been some rumblings about whatever this is going to be characterized, a budget freeze or what have you. But based on the actions that were taken in savings the money before any of the board members heard that certain amounts of money weren't being expended, I told the chairman to put this on the agenda so everybody could know what the plan of the administration was relative to spending and non-spending, so you weren't surprised if somebody called one of you and said we couldn't get approval for XYZ. So I told Dr. Ferrera and the chairman that it should be put on the committee for you guys to know about it and discuss it as you are right now.
I'm very concerned about next year. Basically, what Dr. Ferrer and I have been hearing is very concerning, and so we have to really prepare for the worst and hope it doesn't happen.
Steph, when you say concerning, what issue are you concerned about?
I'm concerned that they're going to, because of what's happened to the economy in the basically since we stopped school, that they're going to reduce Chapter 70 funding for next year, which they have given us preliminary numbers in January, and we've got to expect that they will decrease it. They're just not going to have the ability to have that type of money available. So usually at this point in the game, we're very comfortable where next year's budget is. We certainly aren't this year.
If I could also add to Dr. Nera, the budget that was accepted in March, obviously with the change at the state budget level, we're going to have to revisit and review our proposed budget moving forward. That number just isn't accurate anymore. The governor's number, with the House needing to pass its own. So we're expecting the next 4 to 6 weeks, plus or minus, to get some guidance from the state as to exactly what our actual budget number will be moving forward. The executive office and the Department of Education have given us guidance, what to be ready for as far as reductions and what our July budget could look like moving forward. And Mrs. Kenny and I have prepared numerous secondary and tertiary budgets should the numbers come back significantly different than what we had seen in January and March.
Okay, so you probably know sometime July before we actually see something that,
That's correct.
right?
Yes.
The state budget will be done by July 1st, so that'll give you all the numbers.
Now, because we haven't had because we haven't had, many of the towns haven't had their town meetings. Am I talking over someone?
Not right now.
Okay, good. We will be required to do a 1/12 budget starting July 1st. So basically we'll start off the fiscal year. This is a method that the state has always had available if the budget was not approved by July 1st. So we'll start off the fiscal year in July with a 1/12 budget based on FY20 numbers. And we'll be prepared to do that.
Okay, keep us updated on the budget process, please.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next is the 3.2I super report. Dr. Ferrera.
So for this month, as far as our students go, as folks are aware, Schools USA states and nationals were postponed and canceled. We are waiting to hear regarding some possible summer events that are coming up on some of the different programs that are taking place. As far as admissions for 2021, they're well underway. We have an expectation that we'll have some final numbers by June 15th of 2020. As far as our current enrollment as of May 1, we had 1,411 students enrolled at Diamond Regional at the high school level. As far as data and grants, all our federal and state grants have been updated. Some of them have been amended due to the COVID-19 allowances that have changed over the past few weeks. Diamond also did not participate in the Capital Skills Grant for 2021 this year. In partnerships and community organizations, our vocational programs have completed our community project with Rosemary's Kids. That project is ready to go. We're working on delivery as we speak, updating some of the other projects that are going on. We do understand the bioreserve is on hold due to some complications that have come up. The conservation building and the reservation situation is in progress. As far as the water department, we are nearing completion, and the garden club as well. I'm not sure if there are any other questions from committee members on some of our community partnerships besides the ones that have just been mentioned. Okay, hearing none. As far as coming events, graduation, again, if possible, we have postponed a face-to-face graduation that we're hoping will take place the week of August 13th. As far as the prom, we have made a change in the venue due to the Rhode Island situation and summer activities. We will have moved our prom to Whites of Westport. We are hoping for a face-to-face prom the week of August 7th. Awards night, again, hoping for a face-to-face event the week of August 12th on Stonehaven Road. Outstanding vocational student night, we have communicated with Whites of Westport. They are able to host us on August the 4th, again, assuming a face-to-face is allowed at that time. As far as National Honor Society, we are hoping to have the face-to-face ceremony August the 5th on Stonehaven Road. The LPN commencement ceremony is still being determined.
Great. Thank you. Any questions, comments on the superintendent?
Al, with regards to like these 6 events, is there a deadline in which we have to confirm yay or nay they are to happen? Let's say, for example, the governor has a program in which he says, okay, May 18th, I'm only going to allow this for the next 6 weeks. And then he says, okay, June 15th, I'm only going to allow this for the next 6 weeks. And then he says, all right, July 15th. And then let's say his decision as of July 15th, he doesn't want any assembly greater than 50 people, with regards to graduation or prom. Is there a time to which we have to let the students know that yay or nay, these things are going to happen or not?
Our hope right now in our plan, especially with graduation, obviously it's going to vary depending on what the governor's allowances will be. We do have a plan in place where we could potentially have a graduation ceremony that goes over several days. So for example, if we could only have 50 to 100 people, we would have to have 4 days of ceremonies, but we could have 4 events planned so that we do have the face-to-face scenario. Whites of Westport has been extremely workable. They have really reached out beyond any sort of a normal abilities to do exactly what we are looking for as far as the Outstanding Vocational Awards banquet and the prom. We'll work closely with them over the coming weeks to make sure that they are fully prepared and we have everything we need in place.
So basically, we'll move onward until we're told that we can't.
Correct. That's the hope. And again, if we have to do something over multiple days for any of the events, we have started to discuss those pieces as well.
Well, let's hope so. Yeah, because I know these kids need it.
Yeah, let's vote. Great, thank you. 3.2M, calendar events. Our next school committee meeting is scheduled for June 11th. We normally meet in July, but with what's going on with the virus and the budget, we may skip the June meeting and maybe go right to, maybe we'll have a July meeting this year. That'll be
That would be good.
coming. 3.2N, any other items not really anticipated?
I don't have anything, Mr. Chairman. Anything come up in the last day? I don't know, Lucy? Okay.
Okay. Correspondence, we have none. Like I said, the next meeting may be in July, depending on how the rest here. All right. Need a motion to adjourn?
So,
Need a second?
Second?
All in favor?
I-
Aye. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.
Good job, Lucy.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Have a good night.
Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
Stay safe, everyone.
Father, how'd you play today?
8 over.